But tell us, chapter and verse, it touches on ex-convicts or prisoners as they come back into society trying to make a name, or position for themselves, but they aren't able to do so. Why was this important for you to make?
Well, I live here in Harlem, and it is a community filled with black men because of racial and economic reasons who have been to prison and who are headed to prison. And I wanted to write and direct a film that showed a very human side to that. I spent 9.5 years in prison because of my involvement in the Black Panther Party. I joined the Panthers when I was 15 years old, and when I was 16, I went to prison as part of the New York Panther 21 case. That was the same case that Sister Afeni Shakur was part of, Tupac's mom. So living and working in a community as someone that runs a youth program and also as an educator, I'm a professor at Columbia University, I know that there's a chance that every third black man or black boy that I pass has been to prison or is headed to prison. And that's not just a statistic to us. It's not just a number. To us who live in this community and other communities like it, it is our fathers, it's our sons, it's our brothers, it's our husbands. And I wanted to do a portrait to kind of really look at that and show the community and family around that, or as we call them, that third man.
And I certainly felt that. Now, in this film, it shows the lead character who does get a second chance at society, and he does get a second chance, to make a name for himself. But he stumbles upon this young man, and he decides to risk it all just so this young man can have a chance at not going to prison and ruining his future. Why did you decide to go with that storyline instead of making it, the typical happy ending where we got to see Lance, who was the main character, live a fulfilled and joyous life?
Well, I went with that story ending because sadly it's true. The rate of recidivism of men and women who return to prison is very high. And when I was in prison, there'd be certain guys who were there, and you knew they were coming back because they were like, yo, I'm going to get out. I'm going to get that package, and I'm going to sling some drugs, or I'm going to go out, I'm going to get that gat, I'm going to rob a bank. But there were other people that got those computer certificates, got that high school equivalency, even a couple of college credits. They seemed like they had a plan, and they would come back. And that made you realize that no matter how hard you try to heal, that if the system is broken, that the odds are stacked against you. And so that's why I wanted to tell that story, because more often than not for us, it's not a happy ending. From the school to prison pipeline that incarcerates our young men simply because they're black and poor to begin with, to the revolving door that continues to send them back to prison. And we have to understand that just like slavery, it's a business. Slavery was a business. Slavery wasn't, white folks hating black folks. It was a form of free labor that built this country. As Michelle Obama said at her speech, I go to sleep in a house that was built by slaves. My daughter grew up in that. And when you look at all of the companies that are making money for prisons, I'd ask your viewing audience just to Google companies doing business with prisons. It will absolutely blow your mind. We're talking about Victoria's Secrets, Starbucks, Target, Verizon, all of these companies that are making money because of the labor that they're getting in prison. And that number is only growing. Under the Trump administration, the funding for private prisons is not decreasing, it's increasing. And so unless we make those connections and really fight it, it will continue to be an epidemic and a virus that is robbing our community of our men, our boys, and also many of our sisters.
Now, wow. Briefly going back, you did mention that you were a part of the Black Panthers yourself, and you're an original, and you did spend some time due to being a part of that. I don't want to say the word regret. Would you regret it? But is there anything you would change, that you may have done while being a part of the Black Panthers?
Well, I think those of us who were in the movement, and we just refer to ourselves as Black Panthers. It's not even former Black Panthers to us. We have an alumni association that's still active, as you can see from this film festival, which is dedicated to political prisoners. Those Panthers who are still in prison. And we're talking about Panthers who now have been in prison 20, 30, 40, in some cases 50 years. They were still fighting free, who are in for their political beliefs, because no matter what the charge is, 20 years is enough, 30 years is enough, 40 years is certainly enough. We, in the Black Panther Party, had the Panther 10-point program. And if you go online and look at that program where we talk about housing, education, justice, peace, healthcare, all of those things, that Panther program was written 50 years ago. It could have been written last year. But if you ask any Panther what we were taught to believe in above all other things, they will say we were taught to have an undying love for the people. That's why the Panthers carried guns, but we also served breakfast programs. We also were out here with health programs. We were doing housing. So I have no regrets. The thing that I wish we were more aware of is the viciousness of the government in the form of a program known as the counterintelligence program. The COINTEL program that infiltrated the Black Panther Party, that caused a split in the Black Panther Party, that caused the death of Panthers, the imprisonment of Panthers. As much as we talked about fascism and capitalism and called the police pigs, I think we underestimated just how vicious this government was. We hope that the example of what happened to the Panthers would be an example to young people who are activists now, what they have to be aware of. Specifically, I want to point to social media. They would bug Panther offices, they would wiretap our phones, they would surveil us by taking photographs, and then they would use this information to frame us, to turn us against each other, to turn the Panthers against other organizations. Now all they have to do for young people is monitor their social media. And, we talk about fake news and we talk about what the collusion with the Russians and the Trump campaign. The same thing is happening now because you have agents and provocateurs and people using social media to plant false rumors against young activists, to turn them against one another. People are having these beefs on Instagram and Twitter and social media. And how many of those are really their beefs, and beefs that are done by people sitting at a computer using the lessons of the counterintelligence program that they perfected against the Black Panther Party, against the movement today. So I wish we could get that message out. I wish people could learn from our legacy and really salute what the Panthers are doing. We're proud of that. But for us, just saying, thank you for what you did is not enough. Please learn from what we did and take the movement to the next level.
Take the movement to the next level, folks. That is why it is so important to see this film, chapter and verse. I am moved by this film, I have to say. I guess you hear about it, but I don't really pay attention, to their struggle, to the struggles of these political ex-prisoners, trying to make it in society again. So it is so important that we see this film. Now, I know it's playing here right now at the Maisels Documentary Center. Where can people who aren't able to come to Harlem and see this film, where can they see this film?
Well, the good news is that it can be seen everywhere in terms of iTunes. It's on demand. The DVD, Chapter and Verse, is available on Amazon, and it'll be on BET later this year.
Oh, wow. BET. Hashtag.
Hashtag BET.
Yes, I love it. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for your time. Just quick question. Do you want to give any shout outs to any students at Columbia University? Because I know that's where you're working.
Absolutely. Yeah, big shout outs to my students at Columbia University Graduate Film Program, and shout outs to my young people in an artist activist group that is known as Impact Repertory Theater.
Oh, I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. I am your favorite Barry, here with Mr. Jamal Joseph, writer and director of the film Chapter and Verse. Go see it on Amazon, iTunes, wherever you can. We are out.
Thank you.